What's up, everyone? I'm on my way to work. Something just occurred to me. These aren't going to be quality videos, these first few, as I start adding to this channel. But I wanted to address the Mandela Effect. Now, you know how people get so upset, angry, like family members, peripheral people, friends, even when you confront them with something that cannot be how they remember it. Like my mom, for instance. I know my mom was horrified when that tank ran over that dude in Tiananmen Square back in the day, Mao Zedong. She was talking about it for days. So I showed her how now that dude never got ran over. And she just like, I don't know, man. She like went blank and re-remembered it. Has no clue what I'm talking about. She will argue to the death about the guy never got ran over, etc. So here's my theory. Let me wrap this up in a nutshell. If you watch the TED Talk, that guy, Dr. Gordy something, that built the D-Wave quantum computer, right? He built that thing. He's on the TED stage. He's explaining the difference between a qubit and a microprocessor on a regular silicone chip. And the difference, in case you didn't know, is traditional microprocessor can be a 0 or a 1. A 0 or a 1. It's binary code. A qubit can be a 0 or a 1, or it can be both at the same time. And I think it's at this point in the TED speech where somebody says, "Doctor, how is that possible? It could be 0 and 1 at the same time. How is this quantum superposition achieved, blah, blah, blah." And his exact words are, "We borrow that value from an alternate universe or reality or a parallel reality or something along those lines." Watch it and you'll see. So I've been thinking about that. Now imagine they've got like 10 of these D-Wave quantum computers in effect right now, right? Around the world. Come on, you dick. Yeah, that's what I thought. Active. Nobody really knows how to program them. Nobody knows, like, the software side of them. But imagine this, right? So the way they work is it's an analog chip using some kind of cobalt isotope that they freeze in place in a matrix. And the way they measure the qubits is the electrons spin up or spin down, right? So spin up 0, spin down 1, or vice versa. If it could be both at the same time because you're borrowing a value from another alternate reality, so say in this reality, spin up, that one spin down, but for the calculation that you are trying to achieve a solution to, you have to borrow the value from that reality that was not the value that should have been. You get what I'm saying? Like that one was spinning up, but you're doing a calculation, so you need to use the spin down. So you change that spin on that electron and that reality, and you reverse them. Right? And the one that should have been spin down in this reality now is a spin up. And I think that's solidified. Once you perform that calculation, you solidify and make that into a tangible reality. So could it not be so that the accumulation of tons and tons and tons of forced variations in another reality and forced variations in this reality start to build up? I mean, the butterfly effect, right? Something as small as the direction of an electron over time, because who knows, like, the fabric of space-time and all that. So if you're borrowing values from alternate realities, and does that necessarily mean that it's a congruent timeline? Is it the present in this other reality? Could it be the past? Could it be the future? I mean, it could be. Not only does like Einstein's theories of relativity and every other physical law in the universe run just as smoothly backwards as it does forward, but we don't know. They don't know what the fuck they are doing. You know, what kind of permanent changes are being made. And I don't know. I don't have it quite figured out yet, but there's a start. You know, there's something suspicious about the way things such as like the Tartarian Empire, which and free energy, which was hidden right before our very eyes this whole time. All of a sudden now it's like a mass awakening, and like, was there a Tartarian Empire, or is that another Mandela effect? Now there's a Tartarian Empire that used to be, and you know, Tartarian sounds a lot like barbarian, Tartarian. You know what I'm saying? I don't think those people were hordes of straggly wild men just pouring from the woods, wearing animal pelts, sieging the cities of the civilized. You know, I don't think so. Napoleon Bonaparte, he said, when he marched his Grand Armée, 500,000 people to Moscow, his words were, "I am going to finish off the barbarians of the north." Him and Alexander were allies. The double-headed eagle symbolized the emperor in the east and the emperor in the west. And they were allies against those Tartars. But I digress. That's my little theory right now. That's my working hypothesis right now about why the Mandela effects are happening. And as far as CERN's connection to it, I know there's that picture with the physicist. It says Bond 1 Mandela. Notice on his shirt in that image, he has this obscure, archaic formula written down in like chalk on his T-shirt. I'm trying to get a good, clear image of that and decipher that, because for all we know, that could be, I don't know, that could be the fucking formula for time travel. Who knows? All right, man. Face 151 out.